All right, let's get this started. So let me go live here. Getting things started. All good here. Let me take a look at the chat. We're good here and we're good here. Hello, everyone. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. My name is Demian Borba, and today we're going to talk about Auto-animate. So first of all, let me know where you're tuning in from, your country, your city, the role you have. Let's double check the sound to make sure everything is fine here. Let's give some time for people to join. Let's make sure things are working. Fabia, probably Brazilian. Oi, tudo bem? Today I have this new headset. When I finished my LinkedIn learning videos, so I did all the videos for the XD essential training there, and this was like the quality there of the sound was so good that I was like, I'll give it a try on the live stream. So that's why I'm wearing the new headset. Hopefully this is good. Oh, I see back from New Zealand. Hey, back Nelson. How are you today? Let's see if we have more people from other places here joining us. We're live on YouTube and Facebook right now. Facebook.com/Adobe XDCC, YouTube.com/Adobe Creative Cloud. Chris, hey Chris, good to see you here. Chris, big advocate for XD. All right, how are you guys doing today? Yo, there's another person from New Zealand probably. I don't know how to pronounce that name, but good to see Chris. Hello from Peru. Marco, hey Marco. Hola. Uh, Utah in the house, yes, Chris. Bear. All right, guys. I'm very happy to be back again. Today I didn't do the live earlier as I normally do because today was a very special day for me personally. Today let me show you my screen here so you can get a sense of what I'm talking about. So here I have my screen. Let me know if you can hear me well, if things are okay, if the quality is there, if you want it louder or quieter. I just want to make sure things are good. Again, first time testing this new headset. All right, as people are joining here, I just want to make sure that I share this great news with you. So I'm huge. I'm a huge fan of action sports, surfing, skateboarding, snowboarding, all of that. I broke every single bone you can even imagine, like by like trying those things. And today in the morning, I was invited to join Tony Hawk to shoot a video on something very special that's taking place. We're gonna have a big announcement later, but basically his new game, his new mobile app game for mobile phones was designed in XD. So I was there this morning. It was simply amazing. Great guy. Thanks, Tony, for having us there. And next year we're gonna announce this video and show how that whole thing was done. So pretty exciting, pretty awesome. Yeah, pretty awesome guy. All right. Today my plan is to talk about Auto-animate. So in October, we're in November. In October, our 13th release, XD13, our Max release, our Adobe Max, our big conference release, we released a lot of amazing features, and one of them is called Auto-animate. So I don't know if you guys remember, but in user voice, this place where anyone can go and submit a feature request or file a bug. Here we had this as a top request for months, if not years. Uh, in the beginning, you were able to, in prototype mode in XD, you were able to go from one artboard to another to create a transition, almost like a new page coming in. But it was not, it was impossible back then to have elements moving within the same page. So almost like a circle, if you're using, for example, material design that has a lot of that kind of behavior, it was nearly impossible to get that micro interaction. And this feature got to almost 5,000 votes in user voice. Amazing feature there. And based on that feedback, we had amazing engineers. We have We had amazing product managers working on this. So Jonathan Pimento, Enarud, so many talented people there working on this for a long time to get to where we are. So in October, during our Max announcement, we released micro interaction. So today you can animate elements within the same artboard in a very special way. So when I visit customers, I always get that feedback. Oh, can we make it like Flash again? I had my whole career on top of Flash in the past, and uh, it would be too lazy, I would say, if we just did that. And the goal was to get something new, something better, something simpler, something faster. And that's what happened with Auto-animate. So here I will show you today the basics of Auto-animate, things you can do with Auto-animate, how it works. And if you have questions along the way, feel free to shoot here. Another thing that I highly recommend anytime you want a feature, please go to adobeXD.uservoice.com, and there you can not only suggest a feature, but you can also upvote. And if you upvote on features, when the product team updates this to feature completed, for example, in this case, 4,600 people got the notification saying that, hey, Autoanimate is there. Go test. If you have feedback, please let us know. And lots of comments here. This one specifically had 322 comments, a lot of interactions there. So this is a great place for you to interact with the team and share the feedback. And just a little bit of context on this live stream. So again, every Monday I go live, and this is almost like an open door to the XD team. So if you have questions, feedback, if you have feature requests like this, please let me know and I can bring it back to the team. All right. I see people here joining. All right, cool. Let's keep going here. All right, Auto-animate. Another tip, if you go on Twitter and you type to search for Auto-animate Adobe XD, you can see a lot of very powerful things created using Auto-animate in XD. So for example, that first one, this was created in XD, so you can get to that kind of behavior. And we're seeing lots and lots of amazing animations. For example, this counter, and this is just a set of elements animating within a mask. So if you guys want to see that, I can show it to you. All these kinds of things, super, super easy. This is, let's see, the loading scenario here, rotating. And you can mix Auto-animate with time triggers, so you can get to an artboard and then stay there doing something, then going to another artboard. That's all there for you. Hey, Jonathan. Hello from Brazil. Oi, tudo bem? I don't have a time trigger in my XD, even though I have the last version. Time is only available on Artboard, so make sure that Mehdi, you select the artboard, because you only land on an artboard, then based on a time trigger you can go to another artboard or to even to Auto-animate, and I'll show you a little bit of that. All right, so let's get to it. I have a file here that's part of my workshop. If you guys are interested in not only learning XD, but also if you want to share this with your friends. So I have a workshop. It's bit.ly/XD workshop video, bit.ly/XD-workshop-video. Here is one file that I have, one video that I created, an hour and 20 minutes with all the new features and all the files, the start file and end file. And I encourage you to, if you can, watch this. And then the best way to learn something is by teaching something. So I encourage you to try to teach this with your community. Feel free to change the files, do whatever you want with the files. Use the images there, and the file is here for you guys. All right, back to Auto-animate. So how this whole thing works? So everything in Auto-animate works this way. You start with almost like a start state, and that's represented by an artboard. So let's say I want to create almost like a material design behavior where I tap on something and then that takes over the entire screen. So here I will draw a rectangle, almost like a button. Let me center this. I will change the color to the nice pink, XD pink. Maybe I can do this. And what I want is, again, I tap that and it's gonna grow to take over the entire screen. The way this works, you gotta have another artboard with your end state. So I will duplicate this, Command D on the Mac, Control D on Windows. And if you see this, the layers panel here on the bottom, I'm tapping on the bottom left to open the layers panel. You can see that this guy on this artboard is called rectangle 69. And here it's also called rectangle 69. So Autoanimate will look for elements with the same name. And even if you have elements that have different shapes but have the same name, let me see if things are okay here. Okay. Oh, good, no problems. Just want to make sure things are working. Hopefully things are just fine. Okay, cool. No problems, just my phone that stopped working here. Cool, 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 we're good. No problems. Let me know if things are not working for you guys, but it looks like things are fine on my end here. Is everything cool there? Just want to make sure we're not having a problem. Let's see here. All good. Let me just double check before I move on here. One second, guys. Just something's going on. Oh, cool. Whew. That was scary. It's just my computer that went black here. No problem. Still live. Thanks. All right, back to the live. So again, I have to have the same element on both artboards, and at least with the same name. So even if I have different shapes, but if I name them the same way, they would the first one will morph to the other one. So here I have my start state, and this will be my end state. You don't have to name it this way. I just want to make sure you understand the difference. And here, what I will do is I'll create a different behavior. So let's make this grow like that. And then I go to prototype mode, and here what I'm gonna do is, as soon as I tap here, I'll go to this scenario, and instead of being a regular transition to that next artboard, this would be Auto-animate. So just make sure you pick Auto-animate. And then I'll click on this one, and then it'll take me back to that, also using Auto-animate. And Auto-animate has a couple of easing functions here, like types. I really like snap or wind up. It's really there for you. Bounce, and that's pretty much it. So now if I play this and tap, boom, that's auto-animating to that second artboard. It's the same artboard, but it's representing the end state is represented by a second artboard. Cool. Does that make sense to you guys? Any questions? Any pain points there? Any suggestions? Does it make sense to you? Oh, there's a question here. I do all what you say by selecting artboard, but I don't find it. All right, so let's say that as soon as I to talk about time triggers, let me just go back to a scenario where, let's say that instead of going back to this artboard after I click on this end, I want to stay here for, let's say, 2 seconds, and then I want to go to another state where this will become almost like a circle, like that. Let me do this like that. And let me just make that more like a circle. And I'll center. So I'm getting this question here from Mahdi saying that he doesn't find the time trigger. So the way this works is you go to prototype mode. So I tap here, go to this artboard using Auto-animate. And as soon as I land on this artboard, so make sure you select the artboard by clicking on its title. Then you drag a wire here, and the trigger here, instead of being a tap, will be time. So make sure you select the artboard by clicking on its title, time, and let's say I want to stay here for 2 seconds, and once 2 seconds are over, I want to go to this using, let's say, bounce to create that elastic effect. So let's do that. Click here, 1, 2, and you get to that scenario. Does that make sense? Does that answer your question? Let's see if things are okay here. My screen is black here. I'm just concerned you're not seeing it, but I checked with Gabrielle and things are okay. No problems. All right. Robert is saying, I just noticed that some plugin sample code how to style text is broken. It should be style range. Can you file that bug, Robert, in user voice, Adobe XD.uservoice.com? Please file that under bugs, and we're gonna take a look at it and inform the plugin developer. All right. Wonderful. Cool. So that's tap Auto-animate. So here I have one scenario where I have these elements. I have this. It's almost like a horizontal line with 2 columns. And here I have these buttons that I want to create like a tab scenario. So I went ahead and I created a new artboard. Then if I copy this element and paste here and then move this to this side, so I'm just moving it to that side. And if I copy all these elements, anytime I copy and paste, they preserve the name. So again, naming is really important for the Auto-animate function to work. Then I can move this guy here. This I'll set it back to 100%, and this is 30, so I'll do 3. And if I use Auto-animate now, let's say I tap on this button, I go to this artboard, but instead of being a regular transition, this would be Auto-animate, and I don't want bounce, I want ease in out. And then when I tap here, I can get to this scenario. So that's it, that's simple. So now if I do this, I get to this nice behavior. I can even change the time, making it a little longer to make it smoother. So let's see, 0.8. And the other one from here, let's do 0.8 as well. So you can see it's going from one to another, and everything that was in one artboard in a different position, XD is animating the properties to take me from one place to another. Cool. Let's keep going here. All right. All right, so that's how you can do that. Another kind of trigger, we saw time and we saw tap as a trigger. But with the same example, so this is the same example that we had before. One thing that can make this animation better is that if I click on this guy, I can go to that other scenario, but instead of tapping, this can be drag. So I can drag from one initial state to an end state, and I'll also drag back. And I'll use snap as a good easing type here for dragging. All right, so again, this was there before, nothing new here. But I can click here and drag to that other scenario. So my XD is doing all the analysis there to see, oh, he wants to do a horizontal drag, and it's taking me from one side to another. And then if I let go before half of it, it goes back to the beginning. But if I pass half of it, then it finishes the animation. So XD is really smart by allowing you to do that. Let me click here and go that way and this way. Perfect. Awesome. Let me double check if I don't have any questions as I move forward here with the demo. All right, I don't see questions anymore, but all right. I see a bunch of questions here. Nice. I think there's a problem with my version. Yeah, make sure you try to add that bug, Mahdi, in user voice with screenshots or anything that can help us reproduce that same behavior. Then we're gonna take a deep look at this. Awesome. All right, let's keep going here. This is another example where I made this big rectangle grow, and as you can see here, if you go to, let's say I tap on this guy, I want to go to this scenario using tap, and I can go back. As soon as I click here, I go back to that. So if I test this, things that are bigger get bigger, things that are go out of my viewport, they go out of the viewport. Super, super powerful, super easy to do. Again, just 2 artboards. This is so simple. Another very good example that I like to show here is, let's say I want to create a scenario where I tap on this button, then I jump on this artboard, then I use time to animate to reveal this blue bar. Then as soon as this is over, I jump to this scenario where I reveal these objects. And they are here as well. So this success, happy prototyping is here with alpha, and go from there. And also this little blue bar is here off artboard, so it's off my artboard, and that grows to that blue scenario. All right, so let's animate this. So I'm here in prototype mode. I tap here, I go to this artboard. This will be a tap, and this is going to be a regular transition. Nothing special here. You saw that before. I'll do is out. As soon as I land here, I will use time to go to this artboard. So time, no delay. As soon as I land, I want to start animating to the other one. Let's create this transition in, let's do 2 seconds. So it takes 2 seconds to review the loading scenario. Then once this is over, I want to go to this artboard, again, using time as a trigger. And I will just, in this case, I missed 1 step. So it's time, but it's not transition. It's auto-animate because I want to review that rectangle going there. Same here. It's not transition. It's auto-animate. So the only time I use transition is when I go from this artboard to this one. As soon as I land there, and actually, let me try one thing. So if I name this guy layers rectangle 1, and I also have this as rectangle 1, perfect. I don't even need transition. So that button can become the bar. Look at that. That would be super cool. Let's do that. So auto-animate. So tap on this button using auto-animate. I'll get to this artboard. Then I'll use time to review this blue bar. Once the blue bar is reviewed, simulating this loading screen, I will jump to this last artboard, also using auto-animate. And this will review success, happy prototyping. So let's see this in action. All right, here I have my object. There's the last step. Oh, it waited 2 seconds here, so I don't want that to wait. Let's fix that. So no delay, 0. Perfect. And how about we make this portion a little faster? So 1 second. And the transition from this guy to this guy, let's do it a lot faster. So I'll do duration 0.6. Nice. So I just fine-tuned my interaction here. So let's do that again. Play. Boom. Very cool with 4 artboards. So again, mixing auto-animate with time to get to that behavior. Here's another example if you want to simulate a loading scenario. So here in design mode, I have this guy with 0 rotation, and my end state has 360 as rotation. So it's rotated. It's the same, but it's rotated. Then I can use time to jump from one artboard to another. So I go to prototype mode, and with that artboard selected, I'll use time, no delay, and this will take, let's say, 1 second. and it has to be linear, right? Because it will keep rotating. And also here, as soon as I land here, after that is finished, I go back to this same behavior. So if I test this, I can see this moving from one to another, animating. Maybe this is too fast. Let's fine tune this. Let's do 3 seconds here and 3 seconds here. So again, no secret here. It's just going from one artboard to another, animating. Then what you can do here is, as soon as you tap on this button, you go to this third artboard, and this will be a transition. Same here, to a transition, dissolve. And whenever I tap on restart, I go back to the beginning. And as soon as I land here, that time trigger will take me to that second artboard, and it will keep back and forth. So again, 1 and 2, 1 and 2, 1 and 2, 1 and 2. And then if I click on stop, I go to, oh, it's taking 2 seconds to get there. So let's fix that. This will be, let's make it a lot faster. 0.4, 0.4, and also this one, let's do 0.4. So the transition takes 0.4. And also this one, let's make it a little faster. I'll do 2 seconds. And when I'm here, I'll also do 2 seconds. Perfect. As you can see, it's really very useful if you can fine tune your things. Again, it's going from one artboard to another. Go to my third artboard. Then if I click on restart, it goes back to my initial artboard. And because of the time trigger, it keeps that animation. So this is a very good way for you to do some simulations on loading bars and all that. All right, let's see if we have questions. Will the files showed for this presentation be available in a bit.ly link so alongside the video? Yeah, you can find the videos on that workshop. So if you open that workshop, let me get there. If you open that workshop file, you get all these assets, and one is XD files extra, and this Auto-animate file is there for you right here. Cool. More things with drag. So let's say I want to create this switch, and I have the switch here and the other behavior here with this guy, the blue rectangle with rounded corners, that's with opacity 0 here. It's visible here on the second artboard. Then I can select this little circle, and I'll go to that artboard using drag, and easing type, again, for dragging snap is really good. And then on this other one, I can go back. So that's it. So when you set dragging functionality, you can go from one to another using drag. And if you get creative, here I have another example where the same behavior takes place down here, but here I have a mask. So I have a rectangle, and inside that rectangle that's masked, I have night and day. So if I double click here, within that little rectangle, I moved night and day up, so I show day. So if I test this now, let's do that dragging functionality here. Go here, drag, and then go here and drag. Perfect. So I click here and I can drag, and you can see it's creating that nice behavior for revealing this. So you can be very creative. And again, this goes back to that example that I was showing here on Autoanimate. Where is that one? This one. If you move elements within the mask and choose to auto-animate them, it will animate within that mask. And this is also true for bitmaps that are used as fill. So if you move that, you reposition that, you will animate within that as well. All right, back here, there's more. Here's another example where I played with drag. I can click and drag. And then as soon as I let go, it jumps to the second artboard, and time takes me to the end here, simulating that drag. And the last piece that I want to show, I'm almost over time here, is you remember that in XD you can use responsive resize features to create a lot of nice behaviors. So responsive resize in XD does all this magic for you. And you can always fine tune and do the other 20% that's necessary. But this is good for you to showcase how a developer might implement this. So what I did here, if you go to prototype mode, I use tap as a trigger to go from one artboard to another. So my developer can, oh, this is how things should work. But it can get better than that. So let me undo this. And you can use any trigger. So in this case, in prototype mode, I'll use this little circle to take me to the second artboard using drag. And also, I'll select the same circle here on this other side, also using drag. So the nice thing about doing it that way is that you can click and drag to show, even the developer can do this if they have the file and they can see, oh, this is how things should work. And very slowly they can drag to see how you, the designer, expect the behavior to take place. So that's there for you as well. So you can mix things, you can mix with drag, with time, really powerful stuff here. Right, so we're good. 30 minutes. Hope this was informative. Let me know if you have feedback. If you can always go to user voice, adobeXD.uservoice.com. You can always ping us on Twitter. You can use hashtag AdobeXD and the entire XD team sees that. And if you have feedback, please keep sending us. You can really help us shape the future of XD. And hopefully this can become the tool that you love in the end. Right, guys, so super happy to show you all of this stuff. Throughout the week, we're going to have more on Auto-animate from other people at Adobe. If you have questions, if you want to suggest new behaviors, feel free to ping us on all the channels that I mentioned before. That's it. So thank you very much. Happy prototyping. Bye, guys.